I don't like to talk about things as soon as they happen, right? Always let shit breathe. You know, I like to let all the information come out, and more importantly, show respect to these families when these tragic situations happen, right? This Tyre Nichols situation has brought forth so much anxiety in me, okay? In fact, the anxiety has always been there and it's always been in the forefront. Like every time my son leaves the house, I have a ton of anxiety. What it really brought forth was my fears as a black father with a black son, okay? And do respect to the families in these situations. My fear, doesn't stem from the same situations as a Trayvon Martin or a Jordan Davis or Ahmaud Arbery, right? Where I fear my son will run across a racist individual, and that person's hate towards my son, uh, you know, would stem them to do something to my son. I don't fear that, okay? Um, Partly because of the fact that I live on the West Coast. Um, I don't know why. I understand it can happen at any time, any place. Don't get me wrong, but I just don't fear that for my son, right? My fears and my anxiety when it comes to my son leaving the home comes from two areas, right? It's two major groups that bring about those feelings in me. One is the police, obviously, and the other is my son running across angry young men. All right. The police, because I have had so many encounters with the police in my lifetime. And, I won't sit up here and act like they have all been negative. There were a lot of officers that approached situations very respectful in a professional manner, right? Um, but it was those handful of situations that made it to where there was a point in my life that I actually hated the police, not dislike, like hated to the fucking core. I say all of that to say this, man. It only takes one time with the police for things to go wrong, right? And so I understand that. Like I've been pulled over well over 20 times in my lifetime, right? And people, it's crazy because I've been pulled over more times walking than I have driving when I was younger. That's what I fear. Every time my son leaves the house to go, hoop and things like that, he's not even old enough to drive yet. He's 14. But I'm fearful that, some cop's gonna pull him over walking, and him just being the 14-year-old kid, naive the way he is, just gonna go hoop. I fear the situations where the police need to hem somebody up and they just, there you are, it's out of convenience. This is why when my son started hanging around a certain group of kids, I really got on him. That's when he wanted the black forces and he wanted to, walk around in black hoodies and all of that. And I told him, stop that shit. There's plenty of colors. You wear colors when you walk out this house. Don't walk out this house in all black. Because of situations like that. The only thing that I fear more than my son running across the police or running across the crooked police, right? The fucked up police, the officers that should not be on the squad, right? Is my son running across a group of angry ass young men who just looking to do harm, out there looking to rob people, looking to, just do whatever they can to somebody. Like it's a bunch of angry ass young men walking the streets. And I'm fearful of my son to run across them because my son wasn't raised with wolves. My son wasn't raised to be able to deal with that kind of shit. I was fucking in fourth grade the first time somebody asked me what set I was from. And believe it or not, they were younger than me. They were younger than me. And I was in fourth grade. But I knew how to deal with shit like that. I knew the neighborhoods. I knew what streets to go down, what streets I can cross, what how to navigate it. Like I remember we used to have to walk to the Boys and Girls Club, right? But it was understood that you couldn't go to the Boys and Girls Club if you wasn't ready to fight because we had to walk through Little Mexico. And if we didn't walk through Little Mexico to get there, the only other way was to walk down Civic Center. And, it's just too much shit that can go wrong walking down Civic Center. My son wasn't raised like that. I didn't raise my son to be a fighter and all of this. Like he, took his boxing lessons and all of that, been in a boxing gym, knows how to protect himself, but he's not raised to be aggressive. Like, I'm really shaping him to be an outstanding young man, right? And where he goes from there is where he takes it. But he was not raised to deal with people walking out there in the streets looking to do harm because of the many situations that life has thrown at them. They might grow up with not so great of parents, right? They might grow up lacking a parent or two, or in a foster system, or dealing with abuse, or dealing with a whole lot of negativity, being thrown their way, dealing with poverty, like these situations that a lot of these young men are thrown into. It creates a situation where they become a ticking time bomb. It creates a situation where they're doing things out of necessity, right? It's just hard for me to explain. Like y'all know what it is, but it's a lot of less than desirable situations that these young men have to go through, and creates a boiling point. When that boiling point is reached, you know they have to let that steam off, like and I don't want my son to be in the wrath of someone just on some stupid shit, you know but he's more likely to run across that than anything else. Like I say, I understand anything can happen at any time, anywhere. I completely understand that. But, man, the thing that trips me out the most about the Tyre Nichols situation is that nobody saw something in this man. Nobody saw their little brother or older brother or one of their cousins or one of their childhood friends in them. He didn't, resemble what that young kid, uh, uh, who you mentored last summer is gonna look like when he grow up. Like y'all didn't see no value in this man. Y'all beat this man up like he was nothing. Y'all held him down and beat him, like not even on some man shit. Like we've seen the videos where officers square the fuck up and get handled on, handle their business on some man shit. Y'all didn't even do that. Y'all didn't even do that. Y'all held this man down. And I didn't even get this far into the video. I couldn't. Right after he got tased and got up and ran off, that's where I cut it. My anxiety reached a point where I couldn't control it. I couldn't watch another fucking second of it. I'm literally at this point talking off of descriptions of the video because I refuse to watch the rest. But y'all, you couldn't even handle your shit one-on-one, and now it's it's come out that, oh, this is about some woman. How many fucking videos do I have on this page trying to help men react properly to dealing with women? How many fucking videos do I have to make on this? How many? But I literally had a video saying how I will not fuck my life off over a woman. No matter what she does, I will let her do whatever she wants to do, and I will act accordingly. I will remove myself from a situation before you find me in prison dealing behind some woman. I just last fucking week released a video saying how we need to accept the L's that we come across in life. You took a fucking loss. He was smashing the chick. You lost. Accept it. Move the fuck on. Now you taking a bigger L. You couldn't accept the smallest one. I understand these officers have families, right? Wives, kids, loved ones. People love them, right? I understand that. So when I say this, understand that I took that into consideration. I hope these officers get the maximum penalty that is possible. I wish a motherfucker would talk to my son the way they got out that car talking to that man. I wish a motherfucker would, bro. Like, I don't give a fuck at that point what the fuck happens to me. I am going to try my best to fucking annihilate you. You talk to my son that way. It's what it is, man. It just is what the fuck it is.